Hey traders, and welcome back to another Sunday video. We're taking a look at the markets and setting up for this week. Of course, today is April 3rd, so we've got a new month started really. I guess we kind of had a new month on Friday, but we're really starting into a full week of the new month here. And I think it's time we talk a little bit about everything going on. There is a lot going on, as always, with the currency market. And some of you guys have known that in the last year or 2 years with the currency market, things have become increasingly volatile and interesting. And in fact, there was a long stretch of time where the currency market was considered incredibly low volatility, incredibly boring. But things have really come back into back to life with this interest rate stuff going on, and we continue to cover it each week. So I figured we could start with the dollar here today, talk a little bit about what's going on, and perhaps what we could see this week. So we ended out the week pretty strong for the dollar. NFP was a bit of a mixed show, wasn't a big pop one way or the other. NFP, by the way, happened on Friday, in case you were away or you didn't pay attention to it. NFP happened on Friday, and it caused some volatility for the markets. And usually what it does is it causes a lot of the US dollar pairs to move a lot. So anyways, that happened on Friday, and it was a bit mixed. We had kind of a mixed report from it. The number of jobs created was less than expected, but unemployment shrunk by more than expected. So it was like some good news, some bad news, and all said and done, it was kind of just a flat, not a very exciting day. Now, going into this week, however, from what we see on this chart, looking at the dollar, I think that the dollar index probably wants to head back to the highs. And, if you watch my channel for a while, I am a dollar bull. Recently, I have been a little bit less so of a dollar bull. I think that there's been some other currencies that have surfaced, which maybe we'll talk about as we get started here in this video. We got plenty of time to go through some charts and talk about some setups. But in terms of the dollar, I think, yeah, probably, we found support here. We found buyers in this area yet again. I think probably see a return back to the highs. I think that's not out of the question, especially when we're kind of just in this consolidation zone. Now, for me, a bigger interest would be on the higher time frames to see if we can get some sort of a breakout and continuation plays. Now, this starts to pique my interest again, because right now we're just kind of range trading. Like, we're just expecting things to go back here, yes, but the big move really would be, can we get a break? Can we get a continuation? And another one of these moves, right? That's what I'm kind of shooting for when I take trades. I'm looking for those bigger swings that have the potential to really move markets and capture some really great risk reward trades. So for me, a big point of that would be if we can break the yearly high. We have not been able to cross 99.5. I think that, if you see a breakout, you see the dollar probably head to 100. That's a very normal place that we would expect. Big round number on the USD. So taking a look at this, there are, of course, I'm not going to trade the DXY. Sometimes people are confused by that. When I look at DXY, it's just the index, just so I can get a view of the dollar against many other currencies at once. But I don't actually trade DXY. I'll trade, euro dollar, Aussie dollar, pound dollar, dollar yen, dollar Swiss, things like that. So speaking of euro dollar, so the euro dollar, it's not playing very nice, though it has sort of started to show some levels of resistance yet again. So we tagged this area a couple different times, and you can actually see a trade that I took that I ended up making a very small amount of money. I think I made $50 off of this. So I shorted here, and the entry was good. The entry was not bad, but then price kind of came back. I had moved my stop loss just to a little bit better than break even. So like my sell was there, my stop was there off of this move. So markets looked like they were headed back down to the lows, looked good, and then it rallied. So of course I didn't take a win or per se a big win on this, but I definitely didn't take a loss, which is a good spot to be in. However, the euro dollar did rally on up to resistance up there around 1.116, found sellers and dropped from there. So now going into this week, for me, this is still sell interest, right? We have the higher time frames, trending lower. But for me now, it's just a measure of, hey, maybe there's a chance to catch a pullback. If it happens, maybe this 50% retracement looks good for continued sell pressure. Euro dollar, my short-term outlook, I've talked about this zone quite a bit, right around 1.096. I think that that's reasonable. So when you start setting up the trade, I like the euro to the short side compared to the dollar. Now, there are other currencies where I am not so willing to short them, but the euro for now, I still am. So If price gives us a pop up to like that 50% retracement level, I really don't want to see this thing kind of rally past that point. If it happens, I'm totally not interested in being in a short trade on the euro dollar. So as we come back, the question is, if we can get up to that 50%, I think I could see myself setting up a trade where, you get the good risk reward. You're looking at a scenario where, hey, if this thing does in fact drop at resistance, you could get some risk to reward that makes sense. And again, remember, when we take trades and we talk trade setups, it is not about knowing with certainty what's going to happen. You'll have people say, no, that won't work. It's going to blow right through there, this and that. Well, remember, what I'm talking about here is an idea, and it's a risk to reward, meaning I am risking the chance that, yes, I could totally be wrong if things rally higher, but the reward is what matters. If I'm able to be correct about this, right? Can I catch a move that makes sense for the risk that I had to take to enter? Because it's very possible that we could see a bit of a pop in the early parts of this week and then see the euro dollar see some follow through. And where is it going to go? Well, look left. We got structure here. Makes a lot of sense in my view for price. If it does start to find sellers, if it continues to go lower, we've got a couple key spots on the chart that we've been highlighting the last few weeks, which is these three major zones. You've got 1.096, you've got 1.0915, and then you've got the previous low area right around 1.084. So that's kind of where I'm at with the euro dollar. I am looking for sell side action. It's not as attractive as it was for a while there. There was a period of time where I was trading. You could see all my little entries. Those are not an indicator. Those are actually my entries on my broker. So you can see I shorted there, covered, shorted, covered, had a couple break evens, maybe a loss in there. So, I've been trading the euro dollar a good bit this year so far, and I'm looking to do some more, but I would like to see an opportunity set up that could get me in for a nice risk reward. That's pretty much the highlight of euro USD. Let's take a look now at pound dollar. We'll take a look at GBPUSD, pull it up on the screen. So the pound is an interesting one. I'm not so interested in shorting this pair, though I'm neutral to mildly bullish on the dollar right now. I am not super interested in shorting the pound against the dollar. If anything, I actually kind of like the pound long. And I'll touch back on that in just a second when I show you guys a position I'm in. But my thought process with this one is, of course, looking for some sort of breakout consolidation either way could be the move here. So, for example, if you get some sort of break above, you get some sort of move past levels of major resistance or levels of support, maybe there's just a technical move, technical breakout either direction. So kind of neutral on this pair, meaning I could either trade both ways if it happens, if it sets up, or I could just completely avoid the pair. And I'm leaning towards avoiding it for now. But that's kind of my take on this for what we're looking at. So before I continue, let me just also say, if you're not already inside of our VIP trading room, we are actually doing 20% off right now. So if you use the code that is down below in the description, you can get access to our trade alerts. You can join the chat room. You can check out all of our strategies and much, much more. So just to show you guys what it kind of looks like inside of the group, let me see if I can show you. I'll pull this up so you can see, and then we'll show the trade. So I'm in a GBPJPY trade right now, and this is kind of what I do inside of the group. So inside of the group, I share all of my trades and all of the reasoning behind it, and we also have a team of traders that do so. So Frank, Patrick, Annie, Ivan, we have different styles. Some are day traders, some are swing traders, etc., etc. But we've been trading a lot recently. There's been a lot of action in the markets. Things have been really good, and if you're not already in the group, you can get access to all the trade alerts being shared. You can join our coaching webinars to ask your questions to Ivan. He does our coaching webinars two times a week. We have chat rooms available, so you can chat with traders from quite literally around the world. We have people from all continents, which is awesome. But yeah, so I'm in this GBPJPY trade. This is a trade that I took last week, shared it with members. You can see there's my entry, 159.935. I initially risked 80 pips, and now we have locked in stops at break even. So let's go look at that trade. I'll pull it up just to show you, I used to, when I first started trading, I never liked the fact that when people would talk about trading all over the internet, they would never show positions. So I've always made it a point to actually show my trades. I know that they're not like, hey, 50 lots long and I'm making huge, millions of dollars, but they are real. And I show these trades to be, I try and show that transparency that I wish I would have saw when I first started trading. Don't get me wrong. Some people do it. It's awesome when they do it, and I really respect it. So I try and do it myself. So I bought pound yen last week, and things have been a bit quiet on this pair, but I think I have a good trade here. I think I have potential on this one. So my initial trade was a move back to this area. So let me get rid of some of these old zones because that's gonna distract me. So I got long pound yen. Nice upward trend, pulled back, a little bit of quiet period here, and I decided to pick up pound yen. So I ended up taking one loss here. I think I took another loss here. So my record hasn't been so great so far, but now it seems like we've got a bit of a trade that's working. So we'll see if we can catch a break here this week. Pound yen came down to support. I tried to mess around with it a little bit here. Unfortunately got stopped out, and then was able to re-enter off of this candle, which I liked. There was a good setup. I found it on the lower time frames and decided to go ahead and get long. So you can see I've been in this trade, just kind of been waiting on it. I am looking to see if price can hold this structure and continue higher. My initial stop loss was just below this swing low. So, you know, I think it was like right there at the bottom of that wick. I didn't want to see it go back to that wick and decided that's where I would stop out. So I had the stop loss just below this structure point, and now we are sitting in a winner. So my goal here with pound yen, for those of you guys who are watching pound yen this week, let's drop down to the 1 hour chart. So I have that long position, 61,000 units open on a swing trade, which is about a 0.61 lot size, which I know is not huge, but when you're swing trading and pound yen moves a really high number of pips per day, you know, I like to be conservative with my positioning. So a couple places of interest. We did already hit this level, which is what my trigger was to move this stop loss to break even. So I took that stop loss, brought it on up to break even. So I can't lose money on this trade now, which is a good spot to be in. You can see my stop loss tucked in there. And then, you know, target wise, I'm looking to see if we can start making a march on up to these next highs. This would ideally be, you know, the winning scenario that I'm looking for, is to see if we can catch a bit of a runner back on up to the highs. If that happens, we'll be looking really pretty, but I won't get ahead of myself. First step, I moved that stop to break even, alerted that to members. So that's kind of just a look into a trade that I'm actually in. I'm you know, sitting on. I'm waiting to see if we can get a little bit of push to the upside here this week, and then from there I'll try and manage the position. So pound yen, definitely a hot topic one for me right now. Found support, looking good so far. Just looking to see if we can get some follow through after breaking this kind of downward structure. So that's where I'm at with GBPJPY. For those of you guys who are members, keep an eye on that for updates, and I'll be sharing those soon. Again, remember, don't forget the 20% off offer that's going on right now. The link is down below in the description, and the promo code there for you is listed there as well. Okay, so let's take a look now at XAUUSD, taking a look at a gold move here today. So last week, what do we see? Last week, we saw a bit of a pullback there towards the end on gold, but gold has been incredibly dull. It's been very, get the pun, right? Gold, usually it's shiny. Right now it's dull. It's very quiet. We don't see a lot of movement on gold. And, you know, will that change? Probably so. It will probably do some sort of breakout. But for the time being, I'm kind of neutral on gold, kind of just bored with it because it's not doing a whole lot. It's just kind of range bound. Now over here, really loved trading gold. This was really exciting. This was really, you know, there are lots of trend following opportunities and momentum. And that's what we love to see. But when we see things kind of stagnate and kind of go sideways for a long period of time, that's where it kind of becomes less attractive to trade for me. I am a trend trader, so usually what I'm looking for is I'm looking for volatility to be high, because when volatility is very high, you get these explosive moves, and if you're on the right side of them, it's excellent. If you're on the wrong side of them, it can be terrible if you don't have a stop loss. If you have a stop loss, you can kind of control it to a degree. But for me, ideally looking at gold this week is, can we get some sort of follow through either way, really, just to see if we can get momentum pushing us up or down. And the key kind of pivot would be, can we break outside, close outside of this resistance, or close outside of this support? And what's that going to tell us? That's going to tell us, okay, the consolidation period may be done, and maybe we're going to see follow through in the direction that gold decides to go in. Do I know where that's going? No, I don't. But we should do some research just to see what positioning is looking like. So if I go over to the website, a1trading.com, this is our website. If you head down to gold, I'm just going to look at the COT data and see what what the institutional traders are doing on gold recently. And it does seem like we actually got a bit of a bid, a little bit of buying on gold recently. So March 28th, the latest data, we have a buying week for gold from institutional traders. This is interesting information. What this tells us is that, institutions were very long during that nice trend to the upside. They bailed on it for a little bit, but perhaps we're starting to see the beginnings of another run on gold. That actually could be very interesting information. It's not, it's not that easy. I wish it was. I wish it was just, oh, they bought some, let's buy it and then we'll get rich. But it's just a piece of information to add to your toolbox. If you know institutional traders have picked up a bit of an appetite for gold, that may be an opportunity to look for some sort of trade to the breakout side on the upside. So that actually might be interesting to watch out for this week if you are watching XAUUSD. Again, in both scenarios, you have trade setups that could make sense, right? If you were to see a break and close outside, retest, that sort of thing, you start getting some good risk reward if you were short biased. But then on the long side, which again, institutional traders seem to be a bit more biased towards, put stop loss somewhere in the middle of this range. If things were to return to the highs, that's a pretty great risk reward. That's a 3 to 1, give or take, right? So you're talking about a scenario where if price does show you that strength, gives you some sort of pullback, it's not bad, right? I kind of like that risk reward. I think that's not the worst. But again, that would require some sort of catalyst, some sort of strength to the upside, break us out of resistance, and then looking at continuation plays, continuation ideas, that sort of thing. So that's kind of what I'm looking at when I look at gold, is just primarily looking for breakouts. Okay, let's take a look at AUDUSD. We'll take a look at the Aussie, see what's going on with the Australian dollar. So Aussie very, very much just consolidating here. The US dollar was kind of strong last week, but it seems like so was the Australian dollar, giving us just a result of a consolidation zone. Similar concept, kind of neutral on this pair, similar to GU and AU. I have a lot of neutral pairs right now. I'm kind of just neutral on this one, or on this one as well. So when I look at this, I'm saying, hey, same kind of concept. Maybe there's a technical breakout one way or the other, right? Maybe we get, the bullish breakout. And this is just kind of setting up scenarios. And this is really what trading is truthfully all about. It's sitting on the sidelines, waiting for your setups. When they come your way, you execute them, you manage your risk, and if you're right, you make good money. If you're wrong, you try to control that loss. And that's all good on paper. It's a lot easier said than done, but that is the major idea that, professional traders again and again focus on. So when we look at Aussie dollar, maybe you're getting something like this, pullback plays, something like that with a buy. I do like the idea of putting stops below structure inside of this range. So for me, when I get a breakout like this, if I were to buy, put my stop loss here, the major idea would be, okay, big breakout, nice sign of demand, clear that level of resistance. And on the retest, I really don't want to see this thing kind of come back into consolidation. I'd really like to see this thing break, retest, and continue to find that demand, or I'm out of there. So that may be a buy side example, sell side example. You get the break underneath structure, nice show of weakness, pull back to resistance, sell setups, stop loss, again, same concept. Don't want to see it come back to consolidate. Would prefer, ideally to get in there, hold it quickly to the sell side, or get on out of there quickly. And targets-wise, let's talk about targets if you're looking at this. Targets-wise, you've got probably pullback zones here. You've got, and the other major one is here, right? So there's probably some minor ones that you could look at. Buy side, this might require us to really pull. Okay, so buy side, maybe short term, move on up to here, previous high, you have here, and longer term. So lots of opportunity either ways here on Aussie dollar. I think that, the downside here is a bit more interesting. When you scroll out, the daily chart does still look kind of bearish, though, again, kind of mixed, right? We're seeing a bit of a trend to the upside right now. The question is, can it really break out and continue this structure to the upside? So that's kind of where I'm at with Aussie dollar. Perhaps even more setups will set up during the week. If you're not already inside of the group, remember, we're doing that 20% off sale. If you would like to join, the link is down below in the description. Just punch in that promo code YTVIP and you'll get 20% off the membership to join our community. So with that said, guys, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed today's stream, or sorry, this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and we'll see you back next time. See you later.